We've had one of the most exciting off seasons out of any franchise I've done on this channel. Taking Trayvon Randolph, the wide receiver at 1, trading up for quarterback Brian Nava, and adding players like Connor Knox later in the draft. And that's not to mention a brand new fan favorite for the Titans franchise. It is Tim Cannon. And he would not be here if it weren't for the chat during the off-season stream. We're going to go through the preseason highlights today and get you ready for week 1 of the new Titans season. We're going to see these rookies in action. We'll see Brian Nava, our new first-round quarterback, Tim Cannon backing him up. Running back, Manny Warner, can he be a future starter perhaps for this team? We have all new linebackers this year. Pete Werner and Divine Diablo were signed as free agents, and Connor Knox is the exciting second-round rookie. Ronnie Harrison starts at safety. I did stream all 3 of these games. If you'd like to watch them in full, I'll link those in a YouTube card. But going through the highlights now, we take on the defending Super Bowl champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And here comes Brian Nava, set to make his preseason debut. He was the most accurate quarterback in the draft and possesses a very strong arm. Getting the Brian Nava era underway. We got him throwing across the middle, and he gets intercepted on the very first preseason pass attempt. Hopefully not a sign of things to come, but you've seen the first 3 years of this franchise. Really want to get these turnovers under control. And here are the champions led by Brock Como, a Super Bowl MVP, drafted first year of this series. We've been wanting to shore up the run defense and get some more cover players for the middle of the field. Well, early indications were not good against Tampa as they immediately scored following the interception. Alright, got the interception with Brian Nava out of the way. Take 2. Back to pass against the pressure and hooking up with number 1 pick, Trayvon Randolph. Randolph and Bynes, your 2 outside receivers, and don't forget about our second tight end, second-year player Dominic Brooks. We go to second down, a couple completions under his belt. Nava trying to go deep. It is underthrown and picked off. 2 interceptions in the first quarter for Brian Nava. Trying to show off that 97 throw power here, but the hit didn't allow him to get it down there. Later in the first quarter, Nava steps up, and there's a better pass finding Sal Sexton. I really like the throwing motion for Nava, combined with his accuracy and throw power. He's a lot of fun to play with. Screen now, getting Trayvon Randolph involved. I love his change of direction. His elite acceleration with his size is very unique. On second down, Nava looking for Randolph, and he had a step, but Nava overthrew him. We'll have to see how Nava handles pressure this year in the more difficult pockets, but does find Kyle Phillips, who could be this year's slot receiver. And it just hit me that he is the most experienced receiver now on this team, as Henry bounces off contacts, breaks outside, and goes for a 31-yard touchdown. That run was longer than any run he had last year. And how about the effort of Sal Sexton blocking? This has never been a strength for him in the NFL. He just took out 3 defenders on that play. Offense making some noise. How about this defense? Brock Como, time to throw, but good coverage out of Brian Cook, who is back after a late breakout last season. 3rd and 8 for Brock Como. Dumps it across the middle in front of the linebackers Diablo and Knox. I really want to see improved linebacker play this season. They've got to be able to run and cover, and I think we have the athleticism there. We'll see if we have the ability to go with it. But the run defense early on against Tampa did not look good. The defending champs offense looks Super Bowl caliber. I had Nava and Randolph play with the second team a little bit as well for some added reps. Here's Nava outside the pocket. He does have some speed. Stops and fires complete to Trayvon Randolph. He doesn't have elite speed, but it's plenty to get outside the pocket, to extend some plays, to scramble for a first down. I love everything Nava brings to the table. Got Manny Warner there in the backfield, and 4th-round rookie bouncing off contact. That is Emmanuel Abbott. I wanted to give him a legit chance to earn that starting slot job for this season. 1st and 10 for Brian Nava underneath, and Randolph. Just love his change of direction. I think he's going to be elite after the catch as well. 3rd and 5, going up top. It's Randolph in the end zone. How are you supposed to stop Trayvon Randolph? 6'6", 43-inch vertical leap, 4.4 speed. Best of luck, defenses. Randolph, the total package at wide receiver. All tied at 14 here as the Bucks go to their backup quarterback. Heaving downfield with good coverage out of Roger McCreary, and that should have been intercepted. Buccaneers go play action on 1st down as we create some pressure up front. And that is Kyron Johnson, who had enough flashes last year for me to bring him back this season. And yeah, this is not a Super Bowl MVP at quarterback any longer. It's intercepted by Theo Jackson. That was terrible. And compare that quarterback play to Brian Nava. 3rd and 17. Dart outside, caught by Dominic Brooks. Love that throw power and his accuracy outside the numbers. Going back to the defense now, more pressure. And here we go with a rookie, Taylor Jackson. I drafted him to perhaps be a successor to Jeffrey Simmons. He brings the Bucks all the way back to the 1. But you know what? He wasn't satisfied with just that. On the very next play, creates a safety, immediately showing what he can do as a pass rusher inside. And that's why I brought him in. Going back to the offense here in game 1, and Nava floating to a wide open man. Abbott with space to run, has good speed. Definitely looks good there when no one's covering him. 2nd and 11, Nava getting outside the pocket again, and throwing on the move to Dominic Brooks. I saw enough here to feel pretty good about Nava's ability outside the pocket. I didn't want to lose that entirely, and we certainly still have that in our offense. A few plays later, 3rd and goal from the 6, and there is Chig Okonkwo with the touchdown grab. Great stuff from Brian Nava getting those interceptions out of the way. Love his arm talent, but you know what? There's another quarterback everybody wanted to see, and it's UTSA rookie Tim Cannon. The 7th round pick, initially drafted as a wide receiver, showing his athleticism outside, heaving downfield, right off the hands of Paul Taylor. That was the first pass attempt for Tim Cannon, and Paul Taylor let him down. Defensively, we're up 23-21, pass goes downfield, and they get behind Javon Bernard. Big play down the sideline. There is a big difference between our starting corners and those behind them on the depth chart. And the Buccaneers wrap everything up with a touchdown and a really good drive for Preston Morrison. He's a 65 overall receiver, 5th on their depth charts. Tim Cannon, he threw a pick just like Nava did early in his day. And that's intercepted by Cleland Ferrell. Tim Cannon trying again later, 3rd quarter, gonna hand this off, and Manny Warner brought him in because I think he does have legit starting upside, and I've struggled to find running backs that I think could eventually take over for Derrick Henry. Play fake Cannon, laid this one in nicely. It's caught by Larry Christmas for a 1st down. Ball at the 40-yard line. Fake for Tim Cannon. Gets outside, heaves to the end zone, and connects with Emmanuel Abbott for a big-time touchdown pass. How about that throw from Tim Cannon? Or as the chat seemingly prefers, him Cannon. That is an amazing pass. The hype is certainly not dying down anytime soon, and Abbott completes the 8-point play. We go back to our defense here in the 4th quarter. At the 34-yard line, there's a good stop for Taylor Jackson, showing that maybe he can do a little bit of run stopping in addition to his pass rushing. Then we get some pressure, throwing into coverage, and somehow that pass gets caught. That is blanket coverage out of undrafted corner Kendall Joyner, but it extends the drive. Leonard Fournette playing against 2nd-string players down to the 5-yard line, and then runs it in for an easy touchdown. I love how the CPU has a bunch of starters still in there. We got 6 minutes to go. This is a 4th and 13. Down 2 touchdowns. Cannon steps up, floating, got it to Abbott. Those two seem to have a connection developing. Abbott looking very good. We continue the drive and show off Cannon's running ability here on the read option keep, and he gets 12. On first down, Cannon down the middle. He finds Christmas. Ball goes inside the 20. Trying to put this in the end zone. Keep it in Tim Cannon's hands, and he dives on in for the touchdown. You gotta love the play of Tim Cannon here in preseason. He looks like a fun backup and role player to have. Defense trying to get the ball back. 3rd and 4. There's Kyron Johnson. We force 4th down. The Bucs decide they'll go for it. And Johnson gets into the backfield again. Doesn't make the play, but allows the play to eventually be made. And the Titans get the football back. Looking for some preseason Cannon magic. He finds Abbott. He won't throw it to really anybody else. It's only Abbott and Larry Christmas. 3rd and 4. Trying to dump this for Rashad Polite, and that didn't work. We go to a 4th down. Needing a conversion. Forced across the middle, and it is picked. And the rally for Tennessee comes to an end. Tim Cannon cannot be the hero today because of me. But that's the first game. Pretty good stuff, right? If you're enjoying the video, please drop a like and let me know down below what young players you're most excited to see here in Season 4. On to our next game against Seattle, where the fumbling became a big problem early on. We just want to see Nava. We just want to see Cannon. But we turn it over and give up a quick touchdown, and that's Tua Tagovailoa to Jeff James. Now we have the football on offense. Brian Nava, 2nd game, throwing across the middle to Trayvon Randolph. Here's a 3rd down for Brian Nava, and he overthrows his target, Sal Sexton. It's picked off. 76 throw under pressure for Nava. It's something to work on, but it's pretty good for a day 1 rookie. There will be some growing pains if we cannot adequately protect him and get over aggressive. Tua Tagovailoa. He's showing off his strong arm, and downfield it is caught by Kenneth Walker. He just ran right by Caleb Farley, who's one of the best cornerbacks in our league now. All right, we got it again. 2nd down, and it's dumped off to Trayvon Randolph. We are going to use him on every route. Like, we'll just throw it to him anywhere. 2nd and 17, right on the money for Kyle Phillips. I love finding those intermediate holes in coverage on the outside like that. And then Kenneth Walker, we know he can catch, and here he shows his running ability, breaking tackles into Tennessee territory. I'm still a bit worried about the run defense. I will be making a small slider adjustment before week 1 gets underway, but here comes Terrell Riddick. We certainly have front 4 talent, and they've got to be better this year. We need to get to the quarterback more often and improve against the run. Nice job by Christian Fulton there in coverage. That is against DK Metcalf. We have the ball here at our own 3. And clearing open some space. That's Derrick Henry getting a 1st down, running behind Tyler Vasquez. 2nd down, all kinds of room here for Henry. Works outside, gain of 9. We have a young, developing offensive line. They should be getting better more and more as the season goes on. We've got to improve this running game after Henry only managed 4 yards a carry last season. We flip this one to Emmanuel Abbott, trying to work outside. Has good but not great speed. He's not like a gadget player. And then working Manny Warner in with the starters, and he puts the football on the ground. That's not a good sign. Here is Brian Nava facing 3rd down. He's pressured, gets it to Randolph. This play ultimately didn't count, but it just shows like Randolph can catch whatever's close. We back up for 3rd and 14. That 1st down didn't count, so we try it again for Randolph, and he makes the catch behind the defense. Trayvon Randolph already looks like he's going to be a rookie superstar. Tim Cannon checks in. Triple option. Works outside. He'll take this in himself. I think that all the Malik Willis running stuff we used to have is still viable with Tim Cannon. 21-7, Seattle on top. They run it here with Walker, and that's a nice play for Terrell Riddick. We'll see how the 4-3 defense can maybe shift things for us against the run. I'm really hoping that steps up. I think Connor Knox has a very high ceiling. We get to third down and maybe shouldn't be trying to jam up DK Metcalf. That doesn't work. Seattle moving the football pretty well against us. Here's first down, creating some pressure, and it's Aleem McNeil. We traded for him last year, but a season-ending injury meant we didn't get to see much of him. But in preseason, I felt like he made an impact as a pass rusher. His run defense actually didn't show up as much as I would like, but he gets a sack. The pressure there led to an interception. Aleem McNeil can be a difference maker. And now Manny Warner getting a chance on the counter as he gains 7. Then we spread the defense out for a 4th down. And here's Nava scrambling ahead for the first down. If things break down, he can still make plays happen off script. New set of downs. Nava downfield. And when he's protected, he is very accurate throwing to all 3 levels. Here's a 3rd and 7 later in this first half. Nava protected again, and the deep comeback just cannot be executed any better than that. Devian Bynes, great job along the sideline. We run it with Derrick Henry. With a hole on the right side, he breaks off another long touchdown run of 35 yards. I think last year is going to be an anomaly. He's going to be in for a big season this year. Under a minute to go in the first half. We have Nava under pressure, but he gets it near Randolph, and he'll find a way to make the catch. He saves so many bad throws. And then you send him right down the middle of the field, and he makes another big play happen. We go on to the second half. We do have backups in there now, and getting a deeper look at Manny Warner. With some good blocking, he's able to show his burst and get the first down. And some play action for Cannon, throwing an accurate pass out to the undrafted receiver, Christopher Carradine. Here's Cannon, downfield, again for Abbott. Those two have a connection, and Abbott continues to look good. Maybe that's the 99 spec catch on display. And here's Warner with some tough running inside, looking better than in game 1. On second down, over a linebacker, incomplete by Dominic Brooks. We get down to the 1. 4th down, put a foot down, get downhill. It's Manny Warner for the touchdown. With the offense later in the 3rd, Cannon, off play action. There's an accurate ball finding Larry Christmas. I still like Christmas. He's an interesting developmental tight end. And then running option here with Cannon, and using his speed to get outside. He can certainly make a lot of plays happen. He looks good out there. Here's the defense defending the red zone. Pressure from Taylor Jackson, and he runs the quarterback McCray into Cedric Samuel. Taylor Jackson making a lot of really good plays, and then we bring pressure off the edge, and that is Kendall Joyner on the nickel blitz. I felt like our pass rush really found a groove here against Seattle, creating sacks and pressures and mistakes out of quarterbacks we weren't seeing as much earlier. 4th quarter trying to stay in this game, and that was the worst pass for Tim Cannon all preseason. That was supposed to hit the deep post right there, easy first down and more, but he threw it right into the ground. Going back to defense. Time to throw, going downfield, they get behind us again. Undrafted corner Dion McLeod gets beat that time. Setting up Seattle, where they look to add on to their lead and do so with an easy 23-yard rushing touchdown. Stephen Carroll scores. We go back to the offense. Here's Cannon, 4 minutes left to go in the game, and gets it to Christmas once more. Inside the Seattle 30. Trying to get us downfield for more points. Cannon thinks he has Christmas, but the pass gets jumped, and intercepted. I was sure that was going to be a touchdown. I had no idea that Ray Brown was right there lurking. And then we called an aggressive run blitz, and it did not work. Carroll's going to take this one all the way down the middle for an 86-yard touchdown as Seattle breaks 50 against us here in preseason game 2. That left us with only one game to go, and a training camp standout storyline appeared here before the final preseason game, talking about Connor Knox and his strong training camp. It's pretty important that we improve defensively after allowing a record high in points last year, so Connor Knox gets a boost to his tackling, and I'm hoping that by the end of the year he's making plays against the run, against the pass, and maybe can blitz a little bit even. I think he's got tremendous upside. Now let's go to our final game against Chicago. They have a Super Bowl win in this series. David Montgomery not finding much there. Divine Diablo meets him in the hole. And second down, we made a play against the run, and we make a play, sacking Justin Fields with Terrell Riddick. Get the ball back for our offense. I think in every game here, the first completion is meant to be an easy one to Trayvon Randolph. Might be a good call when the games actually count too. Then we bring him across the formation, get him an easy handoff, let him go run with it. Trayvon Randolph is so much fun. We're at the 44 of Chicago, a little play action and throw it out to Henry. Let him run over a poor cornerback and get the first down. Offense trying to go into the regular season with momentum. Play fake. Nava hooks up with Brooks inside the 5. Dominic Brooks had a very good preseason. I was happy with his receiving ability. And then from 1 yard out, let the rookie punch it in. He did a really good job in short yardage, especially in the red zone. That gives me a lot of hope for him, and I meant to give him a lot of carries in this finale. Going back to our defense, the Bears tried to establish their run game early, but for the first time in the preseason, we were up to the task. Divine Diablo makes another play, and on third down, Fields is forced to throw it underneath, and the defense gets off the field again in only 3 snaps. The offense is out there for 3rd and 12 at their own 8-yard line. Bears try to bring pressure and leave the middle wide open for Devian Bynes. He and Randolph have the chance to be a special combo, unlike anything we've seen on this channel. The future looks bright. On the screen for Nava, Bynes throws a block, and Randolph gets the first down. I think we have some good plays in this playbook for some easy touches for these guys. And then Warner bouncing off contact. That is the kind of running that you want to see. Manny Warner didn't get much going in game 1, was better in game 2. Play fake. Nava again for Bynes. Tried to get him more involved here in this final preseason game. Then we go with some play action and have to get this one out to Warner ahead of schedule. Runs through the same player that Henry ran through earlier. I think that might be Greedy Williams. And we take it down inside the 10. Warner carries here. Doesn't get a whole lot. But on this play, Trayvon Randolph grabs at his right shoulder. He would come out of the game, go into the locker room. Nobody wanted to see this. On the next play, a fake for Nava. And he's chased, running around, gonna throw this one away. And then we get the injury update that Trayvon Randolph has tore his labrum. And that is going to be a multi-week injury. And he is not going to start the season healthy, unfortunately. Nava tries to float this one for Phillips, but he's unable to come down with the ball. We settle for a field goal on that drive. Manny Warner comes out for our next one and shows his ability to take advantage of bad angles by a defense, cut to the outside, get all the way to the sideline. His size-speed combination, I think, is really valuable. Play fake, finding Sexton. That's a first down. I loved our play-action game here in preseason. It's really opening up. And then Warner, right up the gut, takes it down inside the 5. We've seen him punch a couple in already. But Nava is going to head to the air this time, dropping it in for Devian Bynes. What a throw. That's one of the best end zone fades I've ever seen in Madden. Hayden John Charles is fired up. Not a ball I throw a ton, but if I can recreate this, I think we have the receivers to make that a very dangerous red zone option. The Bears couldn't get much going offensively. Justin Fields hands it, and there's Aleem McNeil to shut down the run. 8 carries, 27 yards for Montgomery. And not a whole lot better when it was time to throw. Down goes Justin Fields. It is Aleem McNeil yet again. Offense has it, minute 30 left to go in the first half. Nava zips this one in there to Bynes. He finished the preseason very strong. Down to the 12-yard line. Warner right up the gut. Puts his head down. Pile drives his way into the end zone. Manny Warner looking like he does perhaps have the potential I hoped for when I selected him. I only have a few more highlights in this one, as we do have Tim Cannon firing downfield deep for Kyle Phillips. And he takes it in for a 71-yard score. Cannon certainly had some of the most impressive throws of preseason. We had a massive lead against Chicago. We usually lose all our preseason games because I'm messing around and throwing picks and they're having starters play against backups. Didn't matter in this one. Cannon and Nava both played extremely well. Here is Cannon for Chigakonkwo. We take it down inside the 10. Looking for one more score here in preseason. Handoff to Warner. He will punch it in again and conclude a successful preseason for Tennessee. I loved what I saw from our rookie class. Tim Cannon looks like he's going to be able to make an impact alongside Brian Nava. The only negative was the injury to Trayvon Randolph that will have him missing a little time to begin the season, just like we saw back in Season 2 with Sal Sexton. Unfortunately, every time we've drafted a first-round skill player, they have missed part of their rookie season. Randolph will miss the first 2 games of the regular season. This injury report is for the bye week ahead of week 1, and Chris Wimbley, the center, is going to miss more time as well. Now we get to our roster cuts and practice squad. And I'll say, normally I do this and I say there weren't any tough decisions. There actually were a couple in this round. So a few players are back on the practice squad that we have seen before, along with some undrafted players I liked, like Rob Vance. But Bernard Orchard was active all last season. He does not make the roster this year. He goes to the practice squad. Raekwon Cumberland, he goes to the practice squad. And Justin Gardner, he is out of eligibility, and I'm actually releasing him because I've seen the back of his jersey too much during preseason. I might still add a corner. Then we made a trade, sending Jack Fox to the Cowboys, who seemed to be the most interested when I used the trade finder. I actually had to give up a 7 just to acquire a 6 next year, because undrafted Rich Matthews is going to be our new punter. And because Madden doesn't recognize undrafted contracts, I'm just going to create the 3-year deal myself. And here's one that won't be as popular. Paul Taylor is going to the practice squad. The drop didn't help, but I felt like he didn't help himself a whole lot last year either, with his route running not helping him separating coverage. Instead, Christopher Carradine is going to make the team as an undrafted receiver who has similar route running and athleticism. Actually a better short route runner, and now 2 years younger. Now, during the stream I did, I had considered signing Cedric Wilson because of the injury to Trayvon Randolph. He was one of the more intriguing receivers available, but ultimately I decided against making a move prior to week 1. Here were the preseason stats, by the way. 7 interceptions, a lot of sacks. Hopefully that stuff gets cleaned up now that the games will count again. Manny Warner, 4.1 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns, but 2 fumbles on 42 carries does concern me. Trayvon Randolph was excellent. Emmanuel Abbott had 11 catches. Dominic Brooks had 12. I thought our receiving core looked really good, but I didn't give too much opportunity to guys like Carradine or Paul Taylor. Offensively, I thought the line held up all right. A lot of the sacks were on me. Terrell Riddick stood out. Taylor Jackson, Aleem McNeil. Again, it felt like Jeffrey Simmons just didn't really make the big impact. Kendall Joyner had a couple splash plays that were pretty fun. It's part of why he made the team ultimately. Here is a look at our practice squad. Paul Taylor has a chance to perhaps be signed by somebody else if there is a receiver needy team. Larry Christmas is there. I had one more spot available, so why not bring back a familiar face? Byron Bentley, who is still a free agent, is added to the practice squad. And now we are just about set up for week 1. We have some storylines to take care of before we take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I checked out the transaction log in week 1. Cedric Wilson was immediately picked up by the Baltimore Ravens, no longer an option for us. And I was debating on signing a receiver for week 1, and when you look at the secondary for the Chiefs, probably would be good to have somebody else out there. We don't have a lot of experience anymore. We traded away Treylon Burks, and like I said, Kyle Phillips is now the veteran in the receiver group. So I think I made a mistake in not signing Cedric Wilson. I'd love to see Emmanuel Abbott play a lot, but I think, we want to try to win and start the season strong, but I don't see Emmanuel Abbott doing great against that secondary. So now we go to free agency, and I thought about bringing back a familiar face in Kendrick Bourne. We had him last year, and I thought he played pretty well in the slot. We don't need another slot receiver, but I decided instead to go with Devontae Parker because he has the mentor tag and at least has similar ratings across the board. So Devontae Parker is going to be the veteran in this receiving room, and there's a chance he just stays all year for the extra development. I should have thought about that during the offseason. Greg Robertson then gets released, and there's still potential for a couple more moves before week 1. We have some inexperience in the secondary. We have our 3 starting corners and then 2 undrafted guys. That might not be ideal. And I'll keep looking for more players. I can talk myself into just about any 66 overall player out there. So I'm sure I'll manage to do that for another corner or something just to provide some better depth. But I feel like we have a pretty interesting team this year, and we plugged some holes. We got stronger, I think, with our linebacking core, and there's some upside there with Connor Knox. I am excited to see the team. I'm just not sure what the expectation should be for if we're going to be in the playoff mix again with maybe improved quarterback play and a better overall offense. I think the defense has to be much better than last year for this to matter. And then you consider, how do we start the year? Kansas City's our first opponent, and you'd have to think that they got a much better chance of winning than we do. Ultimately, it's a young team getting younger, and I want to see our rookies play a lot. So this year is really going to be about their development, and hopefully we can win at the same time. But if we can't, there might be some more moves that have to eventually happen. So the first 7-8 weeks of this season are going to be really interesting to see how things unfold. And that is going to wrap up our preseason for today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Drop a like on the video if you made it this far. And let me know what your expectations are for our Titans here in Season 4. We still have a long way to go, it seems, in this rebuild. And I can't wait to get Week 1 underway here in just a couple days. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you in Week 1.